Hello. From the UN Agency for Refugees in Spain, UNHCR, we want to provide you with information that could help you.
Have you fled your country, or you cannot return to it because your life, freedom, or security are at risk?
If the answer is yes, you might be a refugee. We want to explain in a simple way who is a refugee. How does the asylum procedure and international protection work in Spain, and which are your rights and duties?
It is important for you to know that the authorities, public officials, and staff of humanitarian organizations can help you. And do not forget that the entire procedure is confidential and free.
You can apply for asylum if you are a foreigner and have been forced to flee your country or cannot return there because
there is a war, conflict, or generalized violence in your country.
You fear being forced to fight with the armed forces or militias against your will or beliefs.
You or your family are facing extortion or threats from criminal gangs, and you don't have the protection of your authorities.
You have suffered or fear suffering torture, inhuman treatment, or have been sentenced to death.
You have faced threats or detention for defending the rights of people.
You have been threatened for your political ideas or that you are believed to have by others.
You face discrimination and your rights are not respected because of your race or ethnicity.
You are at risk for belonging to a specific group of people with similar characteristics.
You have been persecuted because of your religious beliefs and you are seeking to be free to practice your faith without fearing being rejected or detained.
You are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, intersexual, or a non-binary person, and you have always been rejected, insulted, or ill-treated, or you cannot express yourself or live freely.
You are a survivor or fear being ill-treated, sexually exploited, sexually mutilated, forcibly married, or are at risk of violence at the hands of your family or other persons.
Those who discriminate against you, reject, or persecute you could be the government of your country, non-state armed groups, your community, or your family.
If you find yourself in any of these situations, you might be a refugee and could apply for international protection or asylum in Spain.
Unaccompanied foreign children.
You can also apply for international protection or asylum if you have found yourself in any of these situations and you are under 18 and are not with your parents or legal guardians.
The Protection Service for Minors of the autonomous community where you are located is responsible for your care and protection. They will help you to decide if you should apply for asylum and to carry out the process.
The asylum request and the information you may provide to the authorities is always confidential.
Asylum is the protection granted by the Spanish government to persons recognized as refugees and implies that you could not be returned to your country if there is a risk for your integrity or freedom.
Is it easy to apply for asylum?
All official procedures take time. Inform as soon as possible the Spanish authorities of your intention to apply for asylum. Ask for the help of a lawyer or interpreter. It is completely free.
Where and when can you apply for asylum?
You can apply for international protection any time since your entry in Spain. It is advisable to do it as soon as possible and best before a month since your arrival. An asylum request submitted later will also be accepted.
You can apply for asylum in these places.
At a border point, that is port, airport, or land borders in Ceuta or Melilla.
Inside the Spanish territory, at the police station, or at the authorized offices for foreigners.
In a migrants detention center or CIE.
From a prison. Your asylum claim will be formalized in an interview with Spanish public officials. At border points and migrants detention centers, or CIEs, the interviews will take place sooner.
If you are inside the Spanish territory, you will have to make an appointment. Get information on the appointment system in place at the city where you are located. From the moment your asylum request is registered, you are a protected person, and you cannot be returned to your country of origin.
Don't forget to take with you for the appointment any identity documentation to prove who you are. Personal identity documentation like the passport, documents that provide evidence to help prove what happened to you in your country. Medical or psychological reports. During the interview, Don't forget to inform about family members you may have living in other European Union countries, or if you have documents issued by other European countries. It could be that your asylum claim could be studied by another state. The Spanish authorities will inform you about it.
Should this be the case, the authorities could transfer you to that European country in a legal and safe way. You must be calm. All information is confidential.
In the interview, words are important.
Communication must be clear. Explain in an easy and direct way the reasons why you left your country.
If something is not clear, ask for clarification. Inform should you have an urgent problem. Should you have to fill forms, ask for help if you need it.
These are your rights.
As an asylum seeker, you have the right to a free-of-charge lawyer and interpreter, to have your claim communicated to UNHCR, to the suspension of any return, expulsion, or extradition procedure, to know the content of your asylum file at any stage, to health care, to receive the specific social benefits foreseen by the law, to be documented as an international protection seeker.
And these are your duties. Inform the authorities of any change of address. Attend the scheduled appointments. Respect the laws of the country. When will you have a response?
The Ministry of the Interior is in charge of taking the decisions on asylum applications. The asylum legislation indicates that a response to an asylum request should not exceed 6 months. Sometimes it takes longer.
To follow up on your claim, it is important for you to be in contact with your lawyer or the professionals that have helped you.
Should you be recognized as a refugee, you will be able to stay legally in Spain with a residence and work permit. You could travel to other countries but your own, thanks to a travel document that the authorities will provide you with.
You will be able to apply for the reunification of your family members in Spain. You could obtain the Spanish nationality years later.
There are other types of protection.
Subsidiary protection is usually granted to people coming from countries in conflict. The rights are similar to those granted to refugees.
Residence permit under humanitarian grounds, valid for 1 year, renewable.
Should your asylum claim be rejected, you could appeal before the judicial authorities.
Wait a moment, you might not have a nationality.
If you are not considered as national by any country, you are a stateless person. The Spanish government has a procedure to recognize the status of stateless persons and issue them a document.
Ask for information to the authorities and provide them with all available information on your place of birth and origins.
Courage. For any doubt, contact the UNHCR office in Spain or any of the organizations that you will find in its website.
The UN Refugee Agency ensures the rights of refugees are respected, helping governments to comply with this task.